What is going on, everybody? Matthew here from Fiber Office Productions on YouTube. It is April the 2nd, 2012, and WPA wireless hacking is now even easier than ever before. With the ability to hack WPA wireless networks that have WPS enabled on them, and recently, I believe it was 2 years ago, so it's not really that new, but I believe it was either 2010 or 2011, there was a flaw that was found within the WPS feature on some routers out there, and a couple of them that I actually know that have WPS for them and on them is the Belkin, one of the brand Belkin. Netgear started coming out with them. D-Link has some of the newer D-Links have them, and also TP-Link has them as well. And it affects some of the routers from, I believe it was 2007, the 2007 model routers. So WPS was, I guess, introduced to some of these routers back in 2007, and currently now it's, I think, routers are coming out more with the WPS on them, and now attackers can basically get your WPA password by brute forcing the PIN with a program by the name of Reaver. So what you're going to need for this, to be able to do this, is you're going to need a copy of Backtrack 5 RC2, because it has the needed stuff on it, unless you want to install all these on your own. You're also going to need a compatible wireless card that works with Linux, and I recommend the Alpha Network adapter. It'll be in the description below. Also, the other stuff will be in the description. If you need help, check out Zarbyte.com after the video. So let's get started. What you need to do is go to the terminal, make sure your wireless card is enabled, and we're going to make sure it's installed. So we're going to type in iwconfig, make sure the wireless card is there, and you should see the WLAN 0. That's what we want to see. So what we want to do now is we know that the wireless card that we're going to be using for this is WLAN 0. Now, just take in mind, not all wireless cards work with this. You'll need an Alpha Network adapter or a compatible wireless card for Linux. Not every wireless card works for Linux. It has to do with the chipset, and you'll have to research that in your own. If you need help finding the wireless card, send me a message on YouTube or check out Zarbyte.com, and I'll assist you there. Alright, so what we need to do now is if you don't know if there are any WPS wireless networks around you, to do that, there's a way to find out if there's any wireless networks around you that have WPS enabled on them or not, and we'll get to that in just a minute. So if you're worried about, well, how do I find out if there's any WPS wireless networks around me, we'll get to that in a second. First, what we need to do is we need to put our wireless card into monitor mode, and to do that we type in airmon-ng start WLAN 0, and then press enter, and this will put your wireless card into monitor mode, and it should be on mon 0. Alright, so the next thing we need to do is now we need to find out if there are any WPS enabled wireless networks around us, and to do that, what we type in wash WASH space -I, because the I stands for the interface, and then mon 0, or whatever your monitor mode is enabled on, and then press enter. So you should see some networks that should show up if there's any around you that have the WPS enabled on them. I know over on the side it shows WPS locked, and they show no on them. That's not a big deal, don't worry about that. As long as the networks show up under the list and they show that if some of them show up, they should be fine for trying to get the pin for the WPS, and it'll also show you the WPA password for the network as well. It can take some time to crack the pin, just so you know. It can take up to 10 hours or longer depending on how fast your computer is, and depending on how many keys you're testing or how many pins you're testing per second. And in this case I'm only going to be using 2 keys per second, but I'm going to pretty much crack the get the pin really fast from the specific network I'm going after. Alright, so let's get started. We're going to Control C this because we know what network we're looking for. We're going to copy down the BSSID, which is the number above the wireless access point. It should show up. It should have colon signs between some numbers and letters. Alright, so what we need to do is open up another terminal, and we need to type in Reaver. That's REAVER, and then -- help. This will show you all the commands that you can use for Reaver. And pretty much all you really have to do is just type in Reaver and then -I space -I, then your wireless interface, which is mon0 space the B, which is the BSSID or the broadcast, the access point that you should have got from the wash screen. We'll go ahead and write down, or I should be able to paste it in actually. Alright, there we go. And then --VV, actually -VV, sorry, and then enter. And what this is going to do is it's going to try to find the channel that the access point is on. And if you get some errors, I know it sometimes has some errors where it won't be able to get to brute force the key, and it might crash, give some errors. I'm not familiar with these errors, so you'll have to look them up online. I believe it's possibly because you're too far away from the access point, or because the router has crashed. Because what this does is it performs kind of like a DDoS kind of like attack on the router, where it brute forces and floods the server, the router with brute force attacks, and sometimes that can crash the router. But as you can see, the wireless network that I was going for was actually cracked in 13 seconds, and there's the WPS pin, which you can just log in with the WPS pin, or you can just log in with the WPA password phrase, which as you can see here is #10. So that just shows that WPS networks that have it enabled on them, or WPA wireless networks that have WPS enabled on them, are vulnerable to the WPS attack. If you have any questions about this video, you can leave them below, and also be sure to check out some of the other comments from all the people that might have been asking the same question before you ask, because some of the people will probably already ask the same question if there's lots of comments below. If you need some help, you can also check out zarbyte.com as well. I'll be willing to help you out over there as much as I can. And thanks for watching. Subscribe and comment if you like.